Hello again. My name is Dick Inslee. Welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to show you another free art lesson on how to do values. Now we've done a little still life. We're going to use the same still life we used in one of the previous ones. We're going to put values in it, the darks, the middles, the lights. Let me show you what values are. Basically, and this is a portrait that we did in another free lesson, but here's your value scale. You go from light to dark. Go from light to dark is what we're going to do, okay? Basically, you have 11 values we work with. Now, a painting basically ends up into 5 values. You won't use every one of these values. It could be a high keyed, a middle keyed, or low keyed. This painting here will be a middle keyed, but by the time we get through with it. So we'll probably bring this light down to somewhere in here, and the dark will come up somewhere in here. But then again, it could come down further. We'll see. So anyhow, I'm going to show you how to do that today. What you do here, again, our light's set up, the still life set up. The lights come from that direction. Go for your darks first. I'm going to show you a little technique called scumbling. We're using a cerulean blue, same color we used to sketch it. Take your brush. These little filberts are flats. They have a nice chisel edge and they have a nice flat on them. Now they'll start wearing down a little bit, but that's okay. Now, go for your darks first. The darkest darks I see are, and by the way, don't worry about these lines that you draw in there. They're going to disappear. We're going to show you how to bring them back. It's called a reconstruction stage. And you can do these little still lives and it's good practice. This is where painting begins. Starts out with a design, goes into values. Color is the last thing on the list. Everybody wants to get the color first, but if you don't have the right values in your color, nothing's going to happen. And do a massive dark. Don't do a little tiny dot, 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 dot. That won't make it. You gotta do a little massive dark. There's your darks. The apple has darks around here. Do a lot of squinting. You have to squint a lot. Darks right around here. We'll work into the middles in a minute. And watch your shadows. Now, shadows are basically middle value. See the shadow on the apple? You look at that apple, see that? Scumble it in, but scumble in a big mass. It's not as dark as this, it's much lighter. It's not as dark as this. This is where your practice comes in right here. Now there's a little bit of a shadow on the grapes. Okay. Now let's go a little bit darker on the apple here, just a little bit here. Okay, now let's go to the middle values. It takes very, very little paint. This is the middle value. It's almost the same value as your shadow. Same thing on the grapes. It's kind of a middle value. Now before grapes can become grapes, they start out as a mass of grapes, okay? Let me just show you something really quick. If you took one individual grape out of here, we'll just draw it up in the corner. A little more paint in there. Let's just take out one grape. Doesn't matter what grape, we're just using it. And remember, the bunch of grapes has a dark, middle, light. When you get into the later on into your painting, each grape will have a, guess what? A dark, middle, and a light, okay? And of course, they will cast a shadow somewhere, okay? So you have to take and, this is why values are so important, because you start out with the massive, the big picture. Think of it like this, start out with a broom and end up with a toothpick. That's a good analogy as any. Okay. Let's go a little bit more, just checking it out, okay? Now the next free art lesson, which we'll do later, will be for reconstruction. So this concludes this one today, and appreciate you coming to our studio, and we hope to see you again.